Hey Vinyl Community, this is Tim with the University of Vinyl, back today with a new video. And I had an idea today. I wanted to kind of go through some meaningful songs and associated albums that I habitually will pull out during a late night listening session. A little history. So, growing up as a kid, I was always the one that was trying to hide. I'm going to date myself. I had a transistor radio that I would take to bed. I used to listen to West Coast Detroit Tiger games. But as I got older, I would listen to the radio and listen to different stations and songs until eventually I would drift off to sleep. I've always been a night owl, and in this kind of day and age, life is life, life is good, and I'm married and I've got a couple dogs. We don't have any kids, hence the extra time I seem to have for this hobby that we're all involved in. But yeah, I wanted to talk about some songs that I habitually reach for. And now, with the house that I have, I've got a third bedroom that I'm using as my listening room. If it's on the weekend, on a Friday or Saturday, inevitably my wife goes to bed first. I'm a night owl, I stay up later, and whether that's coming in here and putting on a record, some of which I'm going to talk about, or even, maybe I'm in the living room, I hit mute on the TV, pull up my iPad, put on some headphones, and listen to some music. That happens frequently. But I will tell you, when I got back into vinyl, I had to ensure that I had these 5 songs I'm going to talk about today and the associated albums that they're on. There are a lot more. Maybe this will be a series. Who knows? But I thought it'd be kind of cool to share this with you guys, and I hope you like it. First of all, let's try and set the mood. Let's make believe it's a Friday or Saturday night. It's midnight, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and yours truly might be sitting there with a little bit of a nightcap. Maybe it's a little bourbon with a couple ice cubes. And like I said earlier in the intro, I'm going to reach for some music. And one of those songs that I absolutely love, and I feel just kind of goes down well later at night, is a song off this album, believe it or not. So Diver Down, Van Halen, 1982. This album is kind of derided as kind of a slapdash. It's got too many covers on it, and they needed to get something out to kind of fill the gap before, of course, 1984 came out. But the song, I'm going to cheat here, there's a couple. I love that instrumental Cathedral that then segues into Secrets. Secrets is just, I think it showcases this band at that time. David Lee Roth lyrics are actually kind of blues based and fairly restrained. You've got a really nice bubbling bass line from Michael Anthony, of course. Eddie Van Halen is playing very, very tastefully. No serious pyrotechnic techniques on that song. And of course, Alex Van Halen is just kind of a steady driving it along. But that's a special song, Secrets. I love it, and I will reach for this thing frequently. This is an original. This is actually a club version. Sounds fine. I'm happy with it. But that's my first song I wanted to talk about. Cathedral into Secrets off of Diver Down, 1982 Van Halen. I've talked about this before on my channel, but in 1989, I had moved to Chicago, had transferred to Northwestern University, was finishing up school. It took a couple of years. I did a bit of a college tour, and this album came out in 1989 by Joe Jackson, Blaze of Glory. This thing is a really underrated album. There was a single that came off this album, 19 Forever, and it's a gorgeous vocal performance by Joe Jackson. He actually moves into a falsetto. I'm not going to try and sing along at all, but if you have not heard that song or this album, this is a strong album, Blaze of Glory. Make sure you check it out. 19 Forever apparently is a bit of a diss on arena rockers and, the kind of machinery behind the rock star and propping them up and all of that. So it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but it has a very, very sentimental feel to it. And when I listen to it, it just kind of takes me back to that time when I was living in the big city for the first time and having a great time. But that is 19 Forever off of Blaze of Glory, Joe Jackson from 1989. This is a copy mastered by Bob Ludwig. It sounds great. If you haven't checked that out before, it's highly recommended. I'm a huge Dylan fan, and there is a song off of Blood on the Tracks, the 1975 classic album. This is the first pressing that I have. It sounds great. And the song I'm talking about is Meet Me in the Morning. And Meet Me in the Morning is a blues. It's got an incredible pedal steel passage on that song. And it's a very, very slow shuffle. Great lyric by Dylan. Great vocal by Dylan. And it's one of those songs that it fits right in with midnight. No pun intended. Meet Me in the Morning. But it's very, very. It's probably one of the more atmospheric songs that Bob Dylan has ever put down to tape. It's that good, and I highly recommend it. Of course, I've got to throw in something that's kind of long. It has various stages and permutations and twists and turns. The song I'm talking about is Xanadu. It's an 11 minute and 4 second song. It's on side one, A Farewell to Kings. This is an incredible Rush album. It's the first time that they recorded outside of Canada, so they were kind of in new surroundings, new stimulations. I love the beginning of Xanadu. They actually did some recording outside. You can hear birds chirping. And there is an incredible, the first 5 minutes are all instrumental. This song showcases everything that Rush was. Okay? From the power of Neil Peart, the mysticism of Neil Peart's lyrics, the fables, the mystical tales, Geddy Lee's bass guitar, and for the first time on a Rush album, synthesizer work, kind of a harboring, is that the word? Harbinger of things to come. There is some incredible synthesizer work on Xanadu. And, of course, Alex Lifeson is a monster on guitar, whether it's a 12-string or an electric. They threw the kitchen sink at this song. I don't know what the hell, it's some mystical, fantastic pleasure land called Xanadu, Kubla Khan. I don't care. But I can turn on, I can put this on a turntable, I can call it up on iTunes and just be kind of transported. And it's just amazing. Even more so, I think, than, 2112 has got its moments for me as well. But Xanadu, this 11-minute song, I think this thing has been pulled from Rush fans as being in the top 10 Rush songs of all time for good reason. This is an original pressing. Of course, we've got that cool gatefold with the black and white photos. Recorded at Rockfield Studios in Wales. I love the fact that if you look in the liner notes, it said it was recorded in like the spring of '77, and I believe this came out in the fall. Love it when albums were recorded and released the same year, months later. Fantastic. That is A Farewell to Kings from Rush, and the song I'm talking about, or just talked about, is Xanadu. Check it out. In 2002, I think it's pretty well documented that Aaron Freeman from Ween had some issues. He was going through a divorce, and his writing partner, Mickey Melchiondo, so these guys are known as Gene. Gene is Aaron, Dean is Mickey. Gene and Dean Ween, their 2003 album, Quebec, in my opinion, is pretty much their high water mark as far as I'm concerned. I wish they would record some new music. They are touring for several years now. They had a breakup. They got back together. They're touring again. But I haven't seen any new music on the horizon, which is unfortunate. Now, I'm not the biggest Ween head out there. I appreciate the variety of songs, the talent that these guys have. They've always had great production and great sound on their albums as well. This was produced and mixed by Andrew Weiss. He's done a bunch of work with Dylan on Dylan's later albums as well. The song that kind of hits me on this album is called I Don't Want It. And it features Aaron Freeman, of course, on vocals, and kind of a flick of the switch as far as Ween is concerned. Aaron Freeman, Gene, actually has the lead guitar and lead guitar solo, which is an incredible distorted solo, I think, on a Gibson that Aaron Freeman has on this song. And I think he also plays bass. And then Mickey, I think, played drums, accompanying guitar as well. And Andrew Weiss actually played keyboards, I think. So the story with this album is these guys did a bunch of demos in each other's garages and homes, and that became known as the Caesar tapes or the Caesar demos. You can find them on YouTube. And I Don't Want It pretty much sounds as the demo was laid down. And it is just probably one of the more sadder songs I have ever heard Ween put down. Ween are famous for their juvenile hijinks in some of their earlier songs. They're not for me. I am more into these guys. They know their styles and genres of music, and they can cop them like anybody. Go check out that country album that they put out, and that Freedom of 76 off of Chocolate and Cheese. I also love the White Pepper album. I love this album. But that song, I Don't Want It, it's only 3 minutes and 16 seconds long. There's a back cover. But that thing hits me every time. I saw Ween for the first time. I was working in Ottawa, Canada, and I actually drove down to Saratoga, New York, one of the first Horde festivals. And Ween was on a very, very small stage. I think Ben Folds was playing at that concert as well. Neil Young and Crazy Horse was the headliner. Primus was there. This was like the summer of 1997. But I'll never forget, I saw Ween. I really liked what they were doing. I picked up The Mollusk at that time, another great album. And I don't see a lot of people in the VC talking about Ween. I think it's because they get a little bit of a bad rap for some of the, they've got some profane stuff out there, some kind of juvenile songs, almost novelty stuff. But when they're serious and they put their heads together, there's some incredible music. Anyway, that's I Don't Want It from the 2003 album Quebec from Ween. Hey, those are 5 late night songs that I enjoy frequently. And give me some comments. What do you guys go to for like a late night listening session? Do you have things that you find yourself going back to again and again and again? I bet there are several of you out there who share similar habits to me. Thanks again for watching. I will be back soon with another video. I'm coming out with another episode of Liner Notes. I'm going to feature another kind of long ago album that people may have forgotten about that I think is worth revisiting. That's next time. Take care.